That's a little different. I think I've surpassed you now, Rob.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you surpassed. I've never been even close to you, Paul. We all know that.
God.
Sweet. People are joining already. This is great. Oh, you can hear the kiddos in the background. That's good stuff. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Tricia, do you have the agenda in the calendar for this? I got it. Oh, no, wrong town hall. Got it.
Did you find it?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Hi, Rob.
Howdy. Who's speaking to me for this wonderful?
That's Deuce Bigelow.
Hey, what's up, Garth? Are you still up north?
No, I'm driving to the office right now.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to see you're not on video. I appreciate that.
Do you want me to be on video?
No, I don't. If you could mute though, that'd be great. Just we can hear your car pretty
Yeah.
good. Thanks,
Okay.
buddy. Thanks. So we'll get going at at 9:02. Give some folks an opportunity to jump on. There we go. Some more folks joining. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure if I've ever done a town hall this size, like a Zoom call this size. We'll see. We're at 22. I think we're not quite at the record yet, but we're getting there. All right. People that just joined, we're going to start up at like 9:02 just to kind of give some people an opportunity to get on. And then I started. So essentially, we're gonna start this off with a one-word open, and the idea behind this is just to kind of get a sense of the room. I'm gonna do a roll call, and I'm gonna start just from my screen on the top left, and then I'm gonna go around and get everybody. So it's just a one word, either an emotion or a feeling, whatever, kind of where your head's at right now. So Tricia, do you want to start us off?
Sure. I am feeling grateful.
And David?
Worried.
Straight up. Janet?
Overwhelmed.
Straight. Garth?
Wow.
Jeff?
Concerned.
Tracy? Tracy, you there? Keep going, Zoe.
Inspired.
Nessa?
Grateful.
Freddie?
Excited.
Laura?
Unnerved.
Fallon?
They're crazy.
Yeah. Ryan?
Grateful.
Jay?
Limbo.
Paolo,
Optimistic, but also cabin fevered.
Carly,
Hopeful.
Tommy,
Cautious.
Lindsay. You're on mute, my dear. There you go.
Optimistic.
Bob,
I'm thankful.
ideal ladies wear.
Nervous.
Paul, Taylor,
Nervous.
Shannon,
Carly took my same word, hopeful.
and John. John's gone. That's okay. Ian. Ian. One word opener. Oh, sorry, you're on mute, my friend.
Confused.
And John's back. John, got one word for us?
Uncertain.
I think that's everybody. Did I miss anybody? Myself, I feel connected, which is kind of the purpose of this whole thing. We thought it might be a cool opportunity to try to bring some folks together to kind of share this experience together. There's so much information going on or being thrown out there, all these resources, all these programs, clients calling, canceling, revenues are down, people are being laid off. It's just, this is crazy times. And then, okay, by the way, you're isolated while we go through it together. So figured, from a togetherness perspective, we can bring some people together, kind of build some community, get some level of connectedness back, and kind of just really reinforce the idea that we are all in this together. And this is, if there isn't, I don't think there's a better way to really physically represent the idea that we're together more than this right now. So I think that's kind of the whole purpose of why we decided to do this. Oh, you didn't get a one-word opener.
Motivated.
Sweet. So that's why we're here. From a housekeeping perspective, we're gonna spend a little bit of time together. It's not a ton of time. We got about 40 minutes, and we got 26 people on the call. So I expect that this is gonna go pretty quickly. And so from a housekeeping perspective, you'll note that, I got 2 screens full of people. This is amazing. Sorry, I thought I'd be able to see everybody, but I can't, there's more. So there's a chat on the bottom. You can use the chat window, and you can either privately message me, or you can post a chat to everybody. So we're going to be going through 2 things. One is burning challenges, and one is ideas and inspiration. And then we're going to do a little thing on resources. So if you have, it's going to be tough for everybody to speak up. So if you have a burning challenge that you want to share, just put a sad face. I know it's just what it is. It is unnerving what's going on right now. And I'll make sure I get to you. Or if you want to just message what the burning challenge is, then I can bring it up and then maybe you can speak to it as well. On the flip side, when we get to the ideas and inspiration, if you have one, same thing, put a smiley face. I'll make sure I get to you. And if you want to just write the message there, feel free. If you have any questions while we're going through the process, use the chat room. And again, you can privately message me or post to everybody. Cool? All right, sweet. So I think I got everything. Yeah. And then the last piece, we're going to do resources. For some reason, I've just, I don't know, I'm addicted to compiling and aggregating all the resources that we can use. One, for a selfish reason, to try to save as much cash and weather the storm from our perspective, but then 2, to help share with all of our clients in the community that we've got around us. So that's the last piece, and I'll do my best to provide some clarity on all the things that we found and how you can take advantage of them. So from a burning challenges perspective, does anybody does anybody have anything urgent that they're looking for some support from a room of entrepreneurs and leaders like this that they might want to share? I can start then, just to provide a little bit of context. From our perspective, trying to figure out how to leverage employment insurance and how to keep our staff and how to leverage a work share program and how to balance revenue and cancellations on a day-to-day basis, almost hour to hour, has been really, really difficult. We put a lot of research into the programs that are available, but I'm not sure if anybody else here has been experiencing the same thing. Essentially with us, we've got clients coming in, canceling and pausing daily, but we also have agreements that are supposed to be signed. And so we can't even tell. In April, we might be full or we might be down 50%. So managing that on an hour-to-hour, day-to-day basis is really, really difficult. So I don't know if anybody has any experiences that they've gone through right now, either laying people off or using work share programs or managing something similar. No, all right, just us. Got it. Okay, cool.
No, I don't mind chiming in.
Yeah,
What's
Laura
that?
hand as well.
Oh, great, go for it. Okay, let's. There was a couple in there, so maybe just put in the chat. You can just put a yes or something like that to say you got an experience on it.
Yeah, we had 2 participants raise their hands.
Great. Okay. Well, Laura, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. We have a staff of 65, and we had to lay a lot of people off this week. It's been a hard week. I'm sure it's the same for everyone else. But I think we're experiencing a similar challenge to you, Rob, of trying to advise our staff what is the best thing for them to do right now. All of the, the aid programs, should they go on EI? Should they be, going on this new emergency benefit plan that came out yesterday? And it seems difficult to wade through the waters of how to advise people, and that's, been difficult for us.
Anybody else got one there? There was another raised hand, you said?
Yeah, I would agree with that too. Can you hear me, Rob?
Yeah, you're good. You're good,
sorry.
Bob. You're good.
There's very little on the new program that Trudeau announced yesterday, and whether it's better to be on EI or this new program. And I'm not sure if there's a combination of the two that they can be on, or you have to choose one or the other. So that's really confusing right now for me to be able to tell, our staff which way to go.
Yeah, I can speak to that one quickly. We're going to put an email out on Monday providing some clarity on these programs. But I'm pretty positive, 98% that the program announced yesterday was for people that don't qualify for EI, for the people that are self-employed, consultants, that type of stuff. So I have a resource that I can share with this group. I'll send it out to everybody that was on the calendar invite within half an hour of being done on this, that shows the kind of specificity around who actually qualifies for that program. But, to your point, Bob, it's like, this stuff's being announced and then there's very little clarity, coming in behind it. But right. I guess we got to give a little bit of credit because they're all kind of just trying to figure this out for the first time. It's not easy. Yeah. So one of the things, and Fallon, you brought this up around adjusting budgets, and one of the things that we're doing to monitor kind of what we need to do is a 12-month rolling cash flow analysis. Does anybody here have a pretty solid cash flow tool in terms of what's coming in for cash, what's going out for cash, how much cash you have in the bank, how much credit you have available, so you can get some sort of view in terms of when you'll run out of cash based on different scenarios? Does anybody have anything like that? Jay, you got something?
We do. I don't, as per sharing it, it's all our numbers in it, so I couldn't really share it, but yeah, we do. That's the first thing that we did is I got Jenny to say, okay, if I'm going to keep paying at least all the salary people, when am I going to run out of cash? And then we did a bunch of different scenarios of it. But yeah, we have a tool. It's just a spreadsheet. We just use Excel spreadsheet Jenny put together, and way beyond my capabilities, but we have something.
Does anybody want that? I have one that's a template with instructions. You want me to share that out for everybody?
That'd be sweet.
Yeah. Okay. Happy to do that. So can we get that, Tricia, just as an action item? Sweet.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so quick experience shares maybe on how you guys, folks, sorry, I'm getting there, how you folks are taking your budgets down.
And also, Rob, there's a couple things I chatted you. Just I think Steve and David still raised their hand, and Tracy sent me a note as well. So just making sure that we can acknowledge there.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome. So Tracy, do you want to hit us up? You're on mute right now if you're trying to talk.
Sorry, no, I just sent the chat through. We're basically being a construction company. We have challenges with getting building permits since all the municipalities have closed down. So building permits are not being issued, which is holding up construction projects. And supplies and materials are hard to come by now. So we have to consider laying people off just based on the slowness of work, which is challenging.
Yeah, for sure. We had a client actually in Vaughan saying that they use engineering signatures on projects, and then when the building permit people come back, they just provide them with the sign-offs they got from the engineers, and they've done it in the past. They said it worked. I don't know if that's the same thing for your issue, but it was something that just got talked to. We were talking to them Monday? Tuesday, yeah.
That's something to consider for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And I can introduce you to that person if you want to talk to them yourself, just because they're in the business and I'm just a broken telephone.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Steve, you had something?
Hi, everybody. We're used to this, to be able to pivot and everything else. We're just taking our time with all our staff to train and really do some of that reaching out to our customers and seeing what they need and working as a community. And things are working good. We're busy.
What's the business, Steve, just for everybody's?
Well, my core business is I do appraisals and I do collections. But the collection business, we've been notified from the government in writing that everything's going to be a standstill for the next 3 months. Courts, everything. We can't enforce. There's not going to be anybody knocking on a door, taking their car, anything like that. So what we've done is we reached out to other businesses that are struggling, and we're basically putting programs to work together as a team. So we're taking something a negative and trying to put it into a positive, rather than reading all this the awful news that's going on. And it's working in our area by bringing everybody else together as one great big family. So
that's cool. Thanks for sharing, Steve.
David as well with his hand raised.
David?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, first, thanks for doing this, Rob. Really appreciate it. I guess part of my concern right now is like we had a slush fund. We started another location in Halifax, and I basically put all my extra money there, and I'm still getting bills coming in, and we're running at about 4 weeks left worth of funds. Do you have any good resources like for bridge loans?
Yeah.
Like kind of took a quick look at the BDC, but they I don't know, just when I looked, it seemed to be a bit of a challenge, and they had a bit of an interest rate on it. And it's like, that's a little bit of BS. I don't know if that's changed as of late.
Yeah, it did change. So we had a couple of folks mention that they took it was a 3-year term. One of them was like 150 grand. It was 3.3% interest, and the first 12 months were interest only. And then there was a balloon payment at the end of the 3 years that you can refinance. So I know that their programs have changed drastically. We took a working capital loan from them before the shitstorm kind of happened, and then like 3 days later, the program got like significantly better for businesses. So we almost got penalized for getting at it too quickly. But yeah, their stuff's changed dramatically. So, and I just saw that come through. I'm part of the entrepreneurs organization. We have a WhatsApp group with like 260 members across Canada, and somebody literally just shared that like Monday or Tuesday. So they're definitely worth checking out.
The other thing
the
other thing that we did as well is we asked for deferred payments on existing loans, and our bank let us defer them 6 months out with just only There's no principal, so just interest for the next 6 months. So that's helped from a cash flow perspective quite significantly as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
I found it funny because in Halifax, so because we just opened, the banks, they came out and they said, oh, you know, we're here to help you. We're just going to charge you interest. And it's because we just started paying our loan, like pretty much all of it is interest. So it's like, well, thanks for your help. And you're actually going to make more money off us. Like, you know, any other suggestions out there for that, or
is it a mortgage payment, or is it like a term loan?
One is a term loan and the other is a small business finance.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, there's probably a way to restructure it. I mean, I can talk to you about it afterwards if you want, but it doesn't. Term loans typically are just there's a fixed amount of interest to each payment. So, I don't know. Have they given you asking what it would look like to see what the payments would probably be helpful. For us, it was significant in terms of cash flow savings. The other thing is we asked our landlord for a rent break, and then in the first request, he just said no, and then I hit him up again yesterday, and he said yes. So that's also pretty significant from a cash flow perspective. And then when we get to the resources section, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we can walk through.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Trisha, is there another one that I'm missing?
No, you're good for right now.
Okay, sweet. So we got that one. I can see the participant view. Thank you, Carly, for that. So, Paul Taylor, you need to stay open by law. So keeping my team healthy is my biggest concern. Yeah, that's a crazy one.
I know mine's full.
Yeah, with our business, the government says we have to stay open, and we have I like to say it's a business. We're in the cemetery business and cremation business, and we have a very short bench. So if someone gets ill or anything like this, we end up, it's going to be hard to replace them because they're all licenses and things like that. So we're watching that very closely. We've shut down our office because we're mandated to keep business rolling through, but changed to just at-need businesses and things like that. And I found your last conversation very interesting when it comes to financing, because we had on the table some very major projects taking place. And now I'm looking to finance them, and the revenues coming in this year is changed a little bit. So we're also looking out into the future a little bit more to try to figure out what's going on. So listening to this today is helping me out a bit. Thank you.
Well, thanks for the share, Paul. So got a dash another call, no problem for Ian. So one of the things then, we've had a couple other challenges. I don't see any other questions here. I got another thought, but does anybody else have a burning question they want to bring up?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead, Bob.
Sorry, Rob.
No, go for it, man.
Yeah, I just have a question for everybody. Like, I guess on Tuesday, they canceled, like we had to close our workplace, but I need to get into the workplace in order to fill out the ROEs. And I'm not just sure what the rules are around whether we're able to access the workplace or whether I can have an employee in to complete those ROEs. And I phoned the Ontario government hotline, but they really couldn't tell me.
Oh, no, and they won't, because no one wants to take responsibility because no one has a clue what's going on.
That's right. So
if you know, I'm at my office right now because no one else is here.
Right.
So it's not. It's yeah. Go ahead.
I know that they said, well, yeah, the owner can go into the, that's not a problem. But can I, my partner, Cam, he's like a 2-finger typer, so for him to do the ROEs, it would take him so long. But I could have my accountant go in and she could do them like, in no problem. So I just need to know, whether I can have somebody else on staff go in and help him out. What are you thinking about?
I got a couple. Yeah.
that should be a reasonable thing, right?
Anybody have another experience around that recently?
No.
So for me, we same thing though. We got this question going on right now. There's a couple of folks that have e-commerce businesses that are non-essential. So their retail stores have been closed, and they were asking questions around legalities about accessing their warehouse with staff. And so essentially what came from it from a lawyer in the group was that this is not a by law thing. This is a strong recommendation from the government, and people should be taking it seriously from a safety perspective. So I think if you're really taking the safety perspective and the whole social distancing thing seriously, you're in good shape, and making sure that everybody feels comfortable and safe. I think you're fine. Right now I'm at my office because I have 3 kids that are 5, 3, and 3 at home, and there's just no effing way I could conduct this phone call while doing that. I'm actually inspired and amazed how Carly can be on a call right now without a kid hanging from a chandelier in the background. So we also have, one person came in today to pick up some stuff from their desk. We're keeping our distance. We're being respectful of the health and safety and comfort of the staff. So I think you're good, Bob.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just one follow-up question, Rob. Thanks. I'd like to have 2 or 3 staff in taking inventory during this period. I mean, it's an ideal time for us to take inventory. We're shut down. So would the same thing apply as long as they're safe, social distancing and everything?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. We have a similar thing. We got a client and a staff member that wants to do a video shoot here next week, and they want to do social distancing. So we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
I'm slanting one way towards it, but I'm curious what other people's take would be on that. I think this is a good one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we're going to be in this for a couple of weeks, so I don't need an answer right away, but I'd like to know. I mean, I'd really like to be able to keep a couple of staff to do that. But anyway, right now the government says no, I can't do it. So at least the helpline said no.
So
Right.
I'm kind of curious about it too. I've talked to I have some OPP friends, and they're saying I don't know who they're getting to enforce any of this because they're not. So I'm curious. Maybe I missed it what the government's saying, but they're saying you can't do this, but they don't have anybody to enforce what they're saying. So
Right.
as long as it's almost we're telling you not to do this, but we're also not sending out the police force to come give you tickets if you're not doing it.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is, if you're safe, I mean,
I guess if the order is not, if it's only like a health and safety order, that if we protect our staff when they are in there, I don't know if that would be okay or not. And I guess we need further clarification from a government official that wants to take some responsibility.
Well, the reality of the situation is this is not illegal. It's not enforced legally. There is no law about this. You're not breaking the law if you do it. It's a safety question and a comfort thing and a social responsibility thing. And I think it's a really cool case study for some business kids in a couple of years when they get this thing written up, because no one's ever gone through it before. So I think we can leave that one just because everybody doesn't have an answer on that one, but I think it's a really cool question. So thanks for bringing that up, Bob.
Yeah, thanks.
Now that I thought this thing would go quickly. It's going pretty quickly. Does anybody have any ideas or inspiration? Steve, you really kind of started us off there with the idea of kind of changing the way you're running your business, which was really cool. But does anybody else have any cool ideas or inspirations you can share with the group going through this thing? Kind of any wins you might have had with your team or with your clients or anything like that?
Rob?
Yeah, Paul.
We're doing this a lot more. We're going on Zoom, and we're going on go-to meetings and that. And I've just sent a report or message out to my team to let's look into it even further and extend it to the customers that don't have to come into the office. We'll do more Zooming with them and the other types of video conferencing. And I think that's the kind of change. We've also extended our Wi-Fi to make it a little stronger. around here so we can expand and go all the way away from each other a little bit more for the ones that have to work. And so those are the things we're looking at. I think coming out of this, we're actually going to be stronger, and we'll be able to do business a little bit differently. So hopefully we're being fairly positive on the changes that are happening right now. They're just the way we have to do them. We're being forced to do them very quickly, and hopefully we're hitting the right notes. That's why something like this is important to us. You've all experienced a lot more than we have.
Thanks for that share, Paul. That's a really good one. Is anybody invested in Zoom stock? Anybody do that? No? Oh.
We got Shannon and Jason just raised their hand quickly.
Okay, yeah, Shannon.
Yeah, I wish I have. One thing that we've done differently, I can speak, I agree with you, Paul, or we're in the same boat as you. We are definitely meeting, we're getting closer as a team because we're having our meetings. Even though we used to come into the office together, we didn't really come together all the time, but now we're really making the conscious effort to connect with each other every morning. We have our 8 a.m. Zoom call, and, we do a bit of a round table, how are you today? What's going on in your world? What's going on for you personally? And then we get into, conversations about work and how we're going to support each other and support our clients. And what does it look like differently, for this, uncertain period of time. And it's been really nice to see and to hear a little bit more about what's going on in everyone's personal life, which brings us together professionally. We've had even conversations like, about things like, we're working in different physical environments now, and our chairs aren't comfortable, and we're getting sore backs and, things that don't really seem to matter. And now we're saying, well, how can we support you with that? So, some people, are suggesting different things that they can do, like get up and exercise and go onto YouTube and do a midday stretch, find a video. So supporting each other through health and safety sorts of little considerations, it's brought us together.
Well, that's great. Thanks, Shannon.
And we got Jason and Laura also raise their hands.
And Lindsay.
Sweet. Jason, you want to go?
Sure. So good thing that came sort of for us, my wife and I, we were going to take the month of August off and kind of run the company. We were going to try doing it remotely in August. And so this was sort of forced us to figure it out now. So yeah, that's kind of giving us a test run of it. The other thing is I've been trying to find some leadership and lots of different things for the guys and girls in the office to sort of do. And with this, there's so many webinars out there now. Like my emails are bombarded with emails about this webinar and that webinar for leadership and for this. So it's great context for me to send off, kind of like somebody else said about training the guys and girls while they're off right now. So we have a Facebook page for the company. So we've been posting that stuff on there saying, hey, here's a great webinar. If you guys are sitting around doing nothing, this would be great to look at. And then we also started like a learning board so everybody can sign on to it and say what they watched and how long it was and any notes that they took out of it. So then the rest of the company can see it. And if they're replaying it again, then here's the link to replay it. And so yeah, it just brought out a lot more context for people to watch and do while they're at home, which was, I never could find it before, and now I can. So that's
cool, man. That's a great share. Thanks. Laura?
Well, we're in a unique position. We are an essential business. We are in an unfortunate position of having to still send employees into people's homes, which has been tough. But one of the really cool things we've been seeing is the amount of humanity of our employees and what they're willing to do to protect each other. So we have a lot of, some employees who are single, who don't have families at home, who are, really stepping up to say that they would stay on rather than be laid off because it's easier for them to quarantine. They're younger and healthier, and they felt like they should step up. So someone with a family didn't have to do that. Wow. So it's been really kind of emotional and totally cool to see how amazing our employees are and how willing they are to take care of each other. So that's been, I guess, one of the positives for us.
That's cool. Super inspiring. Thanks for sharing that, Laura.
Yeah, Rob, I just want to be mindful 2 minutes before probably timeout.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we
Lindsay
because
had a little piece too.
Go ahead, Lindsay. I saw, sorry, just quickly, I saw a message pop up that the host upgraded this thing for unlimited minutes, so I think you're good.
Okay, we'll see at minute 40.
Okay, so if this thing does time out, I'll send out a new link right away just to get everybody back. So
yeah,
sorry.
you can actually just go back onto this link. It's the same link. I'll just restart the meeting.
Okay, great. Lindsay, do you want to go for it?
Hi, I run a landscape maintenance business, and I belong to a provincial association called Landscape Ontario. And at one of our most recent board meeting, a task force was established, and they meet every day via Zoom. On the weekend or Monday, they met 3 times, and they've been putting together. They've put together a COVID-19 task force website attached to the Landscape Ontario website. And on it, it has everything. And it's up to date to the minute of information coming from government, coming from healthcare. And it's allowed members all across Ontario to be connected and have the most up-to-date information. That's been really, really helpful, especially around like all the stuff with EI and all the grants. Everything is there and readily accessible for all our members. So I think that from our perspective, a lot of us were feeling very, very overwhelmed. And I think since that's been done and that information has gone out, the anxiety level has come down significantly. I sit on 2 peer groups, and from the first one last week to the one that was just held yesterday, it's night and day in the attitudes of everybody. So it's just having, a lot of the time, it's just having the best information. And whether or not you belong to organizations yourself, sometimes that's all it takes, is just people pulling together, and it's that community, ensuring that we all have the same information.
Yeah, that's cool. If anything, hey Dan, it just really seems like now more than ever, being a part of something like that, an association like Landscape Ontario is really, really valuable. Yeah. Industry associations or an EO or entrepreneurs organization, something like that. Super cool, even chambers and stuff like that. So that's really cool. Share. Thanks, Lindsay. Anybody else have anything?
Or just to expand on what Lindsay was saying there, Landscape Ontario, if you're in the service industry or you're still working, we're still, I guess, classified as essential service. So they had like, I don't know if it was 20 list of how to work in the service industry. Lots of great points in there that either you can, well, for sure you should follow, but also send it to any of your customers and employees just to show them what you're doing. And yeah, Landscape Ontario it was an awesome task sheet there. So if you, check it out if you're in the service industry.
That's cool. So in terms of other ideas, inspirations, I think the thing that became really apparent to me was communicating as openly and honestly with our team as possible. And even talking to people about like, hey, we might not be full next month. We might have to do work share. We have to look at employment insurance opportunities. Just getting that out on the table right away has seemingly been a positive win for us. And just, I think if anything, the daily team huddles with the sales team, the daily team huddles with the team leads, I think there's some practices that we've started that we'll probably continue doing. It's just because there's been a lot of value that's come from getting together a lot more. Kind of, Shannon, to your point.
And also I found too, just as a little win, we usually have a Thursday pub night once a month, and we did it virtually last week, and everybody just came on. I think there was like 20 of us with a drink in their hand if they wanted it, and it was just a ton of fun to be like kind of 5 to 6, everybody just relaxed. And I think we set up a virtual team lunchroom, so if anybody wants to go in while they're eating lunch to just hang out and chat, not work stuff, it's just been, again, cool to your perspective, Shannon, just like people connecting on a different level virtually, even though we're not in person, not on work topics. So it's been fun.
Yeah, that's the truth. And another one was just in terms of budgets, we, kind of the first thing Paul and I did, and to your point, Jay, was cash flow and understanding expenses. We chopped every piece of discretionary spending out of the budget. And man, it was a lot. It was kind of a reality of like how much we've been spending that we don't necessarily have to. And I think it's just going to make us sharpen our blade a little bit as we come out of this thing. Be not so we were like, we don't have anywhere we can trim the fat, and then we did, and so it was just really neat to see how this can create perspective. And then the biggest thing that seemingly, and this is just a hypothesis, that this type of crisis really does bring people together. Like we wouldn't have had an opportunity or didn't think to have an opportunity to do something like this, let alone the way we're doing it with our team. I think that we're all going to get through this stronger, to Paul's point, as we come out of this, because we're going to have this thing that bonded all of our teams together. So there's got to be some silver lining in that for sure. So I know I don't want to keep you too long. We're just about to wrap up here. In terms of resources, though, I did want to mention a couple things. So there was one piece that came out yesterday. Paul mentioned from an experience share of reaching out to your payment processors like Bonaris, that type of stuff, to see if you can get a break on your credit card fees. That's a pretty simple ask. Also got notification from an insurance broker that insurance brokers are deferring insurance premium payments. So you can reach out to your insurance broker and potentially get some cash flow relief requesting break in your premiums, or at least a deferral. I mentioned the rent one as well. Has anybody done the WorkShare program application? So it's actually quite simple. It probably took me about an hour to get it all figured out. It doesn't mean we're necessarily going to use it. I mean, we probably are. But one of the things with the WorkShare program that was really neat is that if you can get 10% support or 60% support or anywhere in between from EI, so you can keep all your people working, but offset it with some EI supplement payments. So, and then you can change it week to week. So every week you provide a weekly report of the capacity or hours worked from each team member that's on the program. And so one week might be, they're only working 40% normal and they're getting 60% supplemented by EI. And then the next week they could be 90% normal and only 10% supplemented by EI. So it's kind of a cool way to create some flexibility and keeping people working.
Great question with that.
Yeah, shoot.
Can you use that same sort of scenario as almost like a top up, even if they're not working? Can you? So I think EI pays 55% or whatnot. Can you pay 45% or whatever it is? Is that part of that too? Okay.
No, yeah, that's another program called SUPB. It's like SUPB, I think, something benefit, but it's the idea of exactly that. And we can send that out as a resource to this. I've got a sheet here. We can add that to the supplementary top up. But yeah, you can do that for sure. Good. Yeah, no problem. And then just as a heads up, if you all get our email newsletter, open it this time. We're compiling all these resources as fast. That's the other big win I think we kind of got out of this, was that we realized, hey, you know what? Not a lot of people are going to be focusing on ramping up their ad dollars right now. So what can we do as a group to be more of a resource for our clients? And doing stuff like this and compiling this info has definitely been the route we've taken, kind of to what you were saying earlier, Steve. What can we do to build a community and make this a positive? I'm just running through these things right now because I know we're almost at a time when I want to be mindful of what you're doing. Oh yeah, supplier aged AP negotiation. I don't know if you owe anybody money, talking to your lenders and suppliers about changing the terms. There's a lot of people that are not going to be paying, so people that will be paying, they're a lot more flexible and accommodating. I'm not sure what kind of business you're in though. And then the payment processors, the insurance piece, landlord, BDC programs, and then the banks.
I mean, there's the obvious one of obviously taking advantage of the wage subsidy.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's on the top. Yeah, thanks, Paul.
No one's brought it up, so I just want to make sure that everybody knows to take advantage of that. It's up to $25,000 over 3 months, and when you're submitting your source deductions, so it's not a ton, but I mean it can be pretty helpful. So I want to make sure we mention that too.
Yeah, and just for the specifics around the wage subsidy, it's 10% of your gross wages. So if you have say $100,000 in payroll in a month, then $10,000 would be the wage subsidy, and then you can apply that to your payroll remittance, except you can't deduct it from the EI and CPP contributions. And the way you do it is by literally manually making the calculation and then not submitting the difference in funds. At this point, there's no application process. You can just do that, unless you're going through a company like Ceridian, in which case it's a total pain in the rear end. So I'm not sure what kind of payroll processor you use. We do it ourselves. So That's a heads up there. Thanks for bringing that up, Polly.
What about business interruption insurance?
Oh, snap. Vanessa's been listening. You're the best. Business interruption insurance. This is a long haul. It's kind of, or long shot. It's kind of like a Hail Mary, but you might have it. So everybody typically has business interruption insurance. The key with this idea is to ask to see your policy or dig up your policy. I know you all know where your business insurance policy is. I know you can get to it right away. It's a very interesting document we read all the time. But if you email your broker and ask to see the clause, the actual writing, the verbiage of your business interruption policy, there's essentially 3 types of policies. One that specifically says it does not cover anything to do with human disease. One that doesn't mention it, and you could maybe interpret that it could be covered. And then another one, which is explicitly actually covers this type of situation. In our case, it's the third one, and it explicitly states that we're covered by the closure of our business due to a notifiable human disease. Like that's like the actual verbiage. So yeah, that's huge, because if you do end up having a policy like that, it could be a massive relief. So thanks, Vanessa, for bringing that up. And I think that's it. We're 5 minutes over, and we're still running. Hey, we got the unlimited minutes, I guess. So we're good. We didn't get cut off. Yeah, straight up. Any closing comments? I think we're just going to do a one-word close. If anybody else wants to share anything before we do that.
Sorry, can I just share one more thing?
Yeah, for sure.
I just got a post from a friend of mine, and she recommended checking out guelphbusiness.com. There's a COVID-19 page with all the resources available. And if they want to talk to a human, they can tap on the book now button and set up a 1-hour consultation to discuss their business concerns.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's guelphbusiness.com.
Thanks, David.
If anyone's interested.
That's great.
And
okay.
Yeah. So thank you again.
Yeah, no, of course. So one word close. John Namath, you want to start us off?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Hopefully it's unmuted.
Yeah, you're good.
Just want to say thanks. Thanks is the one word.
Rick? One word close.
Is that working?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, my internet's slow. I'm down in my dungeon, as you can tell. But anyways, thanks for doing this. I only caught the tail end of it, but best of luck to everybody here, and hunker down. We'll get through it.
That's it. We're in together. Thanks. Janet, one word close. You're on mute, my dear.
Okay, there we go. Sorry. Okay. Just thanks to everybody. Appreciate it.
Sweet. Vanessa, one word close.
Connected. Thanks, everyone.
Paul?
This was great. Thank you.
Carly? You're on mute, my dear. There it is.
There?
Yeah.
It's great to see everyone. Keep rocking your businesses and for your teams. As an employee of an organization right now, great leadership is really important as we think about our families and our economy and our communities. So thank you to all of you for what you're doing for your teams and your clients right now.
Straight up. Mark?
Inspired.
Steve?
Keep the faith, everybody. If everybody here is one phone call away. We're in it together. We're a family. So just keep positive.
Sweet. Laura?
Be safe and good luck, everyone.
Jeff? Jeff? You're on mute, my friend. I'm going to go to Ideal. For a one-word close, maybe we'll go Garth. We'll come back. Garth, one-word close, buddy.
Thank you for sharing.
Shannon?
Yeah, really inspired and grateful for the community. Thanks, everyone.
For sure. Jay?
Stronger. This will keep your heads up. This will only make us stronger.
Paul?
Connected. This is awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Tracy?
It was very helpful. Thank you, everybody.
Lindsay?
Community makes everybody stronger.
Freddie?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome for sure. Freddie?
Grateful.
Bob? One word close, Bob? Okay. Tom?
Hopeful for everyone. Thanks everybody for the info.
Ryan?
Thankful.
Bob, you got a one, well, thanks, Ryan. Bob, you got a one word close?
Yeah, thank you very much, Rob. That's more than one word, but thank you.
It's all good. There's some hyphens. It's all good. David?
Inspired.
Trisha? Mute, my dear.
There we are. Power of community.
Yeah. And I'm just going to finish out goosebumps. Thank you, everybody. Oh, big one I had. COVID high five. All right. See you, everybody.
Bye.
Keep your heads up. Okay.